Video 1. Today I've been spending my time doing research into how to protect myself, my family and my community from the dreadful behaviour of the Western Australian government, or government of Western Australia and their courts. That's not to try and imply that people are bad, just that the system itself is very troublesome. So I'm attempting to do that. I've got a couple of steps written down to take. The first one is to make an affidavit of repudiation. So this is to change my status, my political status, and I want to do that because that's I've looked onto the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and I can see Australia has signed onto that covenant, and they are bound by international law to uphold that covenant. So as a man within the country or the territory or the state of Australia, Western Australia, I am entitled to change my status, political status. That needs to be achieved. Once that's occurred, I'm also changing my passport to that relates to my status, so I will no longer be an Australian citizen. I will be a national. I think I become a national rather than a citizen, just a national, and so that's an important progression to make. These are all for the purpose of protecting myself, the real man, in distinction, but if I can protect my real man, then I can protect my public person as well. So it seems to me, if I'm able to give the court the proper status and realise the proper standing with the court and establish correct jurisdiction, then I can proceed with confidence and keep everybody out of trouble. So that's my main focus today. So now I'm looking at how to appear in court, and I've realised from yesterday's experience that I already knew that before I went in, but I was forced to go in by summons. I went in and I tried to make a special appearance, but the court just laughed me down in a very rude and arrogant way, but that's the way they function. So I failed in real terms because they managed to easily find their way around and have jurisdiction over the person, even though I was appearing as the real man. So it needs to be done. It says you have to give notice, so there's actually papers that need to be prepared, a record that needs to be made, which is served on all the parties, and it needs to be publicly recorded or publicly published, and then it needs to be taken to the court. So those become the proper officiating documents that the court responds to. So that is informing the court that my presence and in the court is there as a special appearance, not a general appearance. So I'm also going to look up the definition in the Black's Law Dictionary of appearance and look at the distinction between general and special, and understand the importance of doing things according to that system, that legal system. So the first thing I think that happens when you are making a special appearance is you establish jurisdiction. So you have to determine what that is. That is, what is the origin of the law and how is it being utilised in the court at that time. So that's where I'm up to, and this is my first video. I've had a great amount of help from Jeffrey. He's encouraged me to be careful to not argue, which is very important. Of a lot of things I've forgotten over 4 months of being imprisoned. Actually, it's not. I was very mindful of them when I was in prison, particularly the first 2 months. 1 month in prison, 1 month at the Franklin Centre. I was going very well, and then I was drugged, and so now I'm still recovering from the drugs. The last little bit still getting out of my system, but these are very important things for me to relearn as my memory. My memory needs to be constantly. I need to be reminded of these things, and these are things that are worthy of my attention, and for other people's sake, they're very important. So most especially for my children, for Susan and Liam and the other Clarkey children, and also my family, so my parents and my siblings and so forth, and my neighbours. These are important skills to learn and important disciplines to make upon myself, so I can be a better man and function in a way that is truthful and useful. I think that'll do.